Hey guys, excuse the mess behind me. I'm moving into our new house this Friday, but I just had to get this video out. It's a very important one. Um, it's something that I talk a lot about at training. It's something that I impress upon the corporate employees. But, um, you know, what it comes down to in our business is there are three reasons that people pick where they get their oil change. And so I've boiled it down into these three things, which is atmosphere, experience, and price. And there's only so many levers that you can pull when it comes to your business. And so it's important to be able to control the variables that are within your control. And so I'm going to go through each of these, talk about them a little bit, and talk about their importance and how they impact how people pick where they get their oil change. And so, atmosphere is the appearance of the shop, right? So for those of you who have brand new buildings that were built from the ground up, you're starting from third base in terms of atmosphere. You need to make sure that it stays clean, free of cigarette butts, free of handwritten signs, free of mulch being kicked into the middle of the driveway, free of oil stains, making sure that these guys are wiping off underneath the car before they leave. These things all go into atmosphere. The reason that atmosphere is important is because historically in our business, these automotive repair shops have been dark, cinder block, enclosed, not bright, dirty, smelly, uninviting places that can create a very intimidating experience for the customer. And so what we want to do is reduce any kind of friction that customer might have when it comes to the atmosphere. Experience comes down to following our playbook when it comes to the oil change experience, making sure that you're hiring people that have the ability to carry conversations, making sure that you're not becoming robotic with your offerings and secondary sales and ancillary sales, making sure that the oil change is fast. That sometimes gets lost in our space these days because of worrying about too many other things. But at the end of the day, if you take a look at our top 5 locations system wide, they all, when doing a one car audit, would come in very high when it comes to the actual timing of the service. So that is important. If you follow our playbook, if you follow the flow chart that we've created, then we know that the experience is going to be above average. Now, price is the lever that's the easiest to pull. And so at the end of the day, when it comes to price, we are competitive with our peers. We're never going to be cheaper than the auto repair shops that use it as a loss leader, but that's not who we want to be fighting against. Now, in the early days, as a lot of you know, during the ramp up period, we do steep discounting. And that is a part of getting people to experience you and to come see the atmosphere. So if you're winning on atmosphere and experience, price might be the only way to pull someone away from another shop. Oil changes, a lot of you have heard me use this analogy before. It's a lot like finding someone who cuts your hair the way that you like it cut. You're going to keep going back to that person until they give you a reason not to go to them. And so the only way to pull people away in a mature industry like ours is to give them a reason to visit you. Just because you build it, this is not Field of Dreams, unfortunately. Just because you build it doesn't mean that they will come. You have to drive them into your shop, and you have to do it using these 3 reasons that people pick a quick lube. And, perceived value is an important part of this as well. If we look at some of our peers in our space, they create a perceived value, and then some of them have a negative perceived value, and it becomes very indicative of why they're going a certain direction versus other brands going a different direction. And perceived value is just creating an atmosphere, an environment where people believe that they're getting exactly what they're paying for and more. So this is probably one of the most important conversations we can have, because a lot of people are just waiting for people to show up to the shop. You have to do these 3 things to drive people into the shops. You have to be active about customer acquisition, and you have to approach customer acquisition as an investment and not as an expense.